You're about to witness a seismic event.
Fuck you, haters. You're watching Skitbags Radio.
Listening?
Oh, yeah. Listening.
Hello out there in the universe. Welcome to Skitbags Radio. What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
What up? I got Neil the Great here to my right. How you doing, Neil?
Just chill.
What up? And our fabulous guest in the house, number one right here. We got to my left, Casey Michaels. What's up, Casey?
How's it going?
And the hottest up-and-coming stand-up on the mic today. We are honored to have Feng Chao.
Thank you. Hey, guys. There he is.
There he is.
In the studio.
It's great to have you guys, man. I'm excited we finally made this happen.
Yeah, it's cool. Thank you for having us. This is a very nice setup. You guys, this is where you work all the time.
Yeah, well, this is where we do the radio show, so this is all included to Dash.
Yeah, you can say that.
Nice. Yeah.
Like 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
If I can work 1 hour a day and pay my bill, it will make me happy.
Yeah. Well,
Same here.
That's the dream. That's the dream for all of us. That's the dream for all the stand-ups, right? You know, just do an hour set for the whole week, you know.
I don't even want to do an hour. I just want to be a feature, 20 minutes. Like,
Exactly. Special guest.
Well, we start out every episode with a breakdown of a movie or TV show, but in honor of our stand-up brethren right here, I figured we'd talk about some either stand-up related TV shows or more just like some specials, right? What are some specials you guys have seen recently that you like?
Well, I did watch the Judd Apatow one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, how's that?
It was, it's really good. And, you know, like he hasn't done stand-up in forever. Obviously, he's been making movies, so he was above that for a while. But I just happen to know behind the scenes he's been like touring around for like the last year, just like working stuff out and making his. And now he's got what's the movie he's in? The Disaster Artist. He's got like a small little cameo in that. So, yeah, it's good to see him like getting in front of the camera again, so to speak. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was really funny. And it's almost like he hasn't lost a step. You know what I mean?
Yeah, about a year ago, one of our friends who's close friends with Judd Apatow had invited us to go down there to see his set. And I was just down just to going to see any comedian do a stand-up comedy. That's just, I'm a huge fan of it. But
Where did you see him at?
Oh, this was at the Comedy Store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and so I'm thinking Judd Apatow. All I know Judd Apatow took from is from the movies, from the screenwritings, and from like all my favorite, Seth Rogen's films. And I really didn't know what to expect. And oh my God, this guy was hilarious. This guy was like, I was like, oh shit, this is like, it made. I don't know his history like that, but it made me feel as though this is what he's been doing. This is what his real niche is. And the movies is just like some extra shit he's doing. Like, I thought it was the opposite. I thought this was like some shit he was just trying out. No, it sounds like he was a natural doing the stand-up shit, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, he started originally in stand-up. I think he was 15, 17 years old, something like that, in Long Island. But he talked about in his special where he was like, one of the reasons I kind of fell off doing stand-up a lot is because, he was roommates with like Sandler and Jim Carrey. So he's like, well, if these are what these guys are doing, then I got no fucking shot. I need to go like write a screenplay or something, you know?
I believe his roommate was Seinfeld.
He had a bunch.
Yeah. I think his roommate is like when they speak of roommates, like the roommate he mentions is Seinfeld. That's the one he like was real close with.
Yeah. So. I heard a funny story when he was rooming with Sandler, because they were actually out here at the time and had an apartment in like Hollywood or something. And it was funny because they had apparently just moved in together. And then like Sandler got picked up on SNL, so he had to leave and fly back to New York to be on SNL. So like Judd was like, yeah, I'm really happy for you, but so you're gonna like pay your rent before you leave? Or I'm like, what's going on here? But yeah, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, there's gonna be like a fat check in New York, but if you don't pay your rent, we're not gonna be friends anymore, right?
Well, I think it all paid off for both of them.
Yeah.
I did remember one of the story that I watched it on one of the things. It's called 50 Years of Improv. He did mention that he was roommates with Sandler. The story was he always is writing, and then he looked at Sandler. Sandler's always going out to hang out with comedian friends and just going out. And he's like, oh yeah, because he's that funny. He's really talented on stage. And for me, I'm just gonna write a lot. Maybe that's when he figured, yeah, I'm just gonna write a couple screenplays and TV shows.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what did you guys think of Freaks and Geeks? Because that was like,
I've seen very little of it, but I don't know. Like it's a serviceable show. You know, if I'm being totally honest, you know, because it's like renowned as this like really like it was only one season, but everyone like talks about it.
Yeah, like a before its time kind of.
Yeah,
show.
exactly. And but I don't know. It was all right. I mean, it's everyone's super young in it. You got like James Franco, Seth Rogen. They're all like, you know, in their early 20s almost. But yeah,
it's very much them trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, and it's also actually not all comedy either. You know,
No.
like it's very much a drama more so than a comedy, which is interesting too. But yeah, that just I don't know. And then like I don't think Judd Apatow's made anything like super serious since then, except for like funny people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that can be considered that. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's got a little dark tone to it.
Yeah,
yeah.
a very dark tone to it. Yeah.
What are some other specials you guys like that you've seen recently?
I watched the one with Bill Burr. Bill Burr's new one with that
he's
one.
funny. I like
He's pretty good. I've watched all his specials on Netflix when it comes out. I'm a huge Bill fan, and I love Bill. I think that's that special is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's Walk Your Way Out.
Walk Your Way Out.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the name. It's pretty. I like. You know what? I really like that special. Just the way they shot it, and then I think he shot the special in Tennessee or Atlanta, somewhere like in the South. And I've never traveled to the South to do stand-up, but apparently
You're not missing much.
I would, if I get a chance, I would love to go. Like Atlanta, I've heard it's a really fun city to do stand-up, and Tennessee, and it just
Nashville's
Atlanta's very nice. I like going. I went there for the first time last year. What?
Did you
with the
say
homie Carl.
Orlando?
Atlanta.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck out of here?
Yeah. No, but Atlanta was really cool. It's very green. It's a very clean city. It's like, oh shit, like it's one of the prettiest like East Coast cities I can remember.
Yeah.
It's really nice out there.
Well, they have there's a lot of, I lived in Atlanta for a little bit. There's a lot of art there. So it's like a hub. They call it the New York of the South. So there's a big music scene, big art scene, big stand-up scene.
Yeah.
Nashville's a really good place for some stand-up too. I did a couple sets at Side Splitters in Chattanooga. That's a little, if you ever pass
Okay,
through there.
I've heard of Side Splitters though.
There's only two. There's one
Yeah.
there, and then there's one in Tampa. And
Right.
that's the whole reason I knew it is because I went up to the one in Tampa. There's there's a Side Splitters and an Improv, and that's it. Basically, or a lounge somewhere with some retirees on the beach.
Yeah, the closest I've gotten, we drove through the South when we were on tour one time. Did you ever do the show in Cincinnati with us, Fung, back in Milwaukee? Okay. We had a show in that we'd set up in Cincinnati, and we'd hit the Midwest and drive out there because we knew the owner of the bar. After the first time we did it, I just like reached out to this guy, some dude in Cincinnati, and then we went there. He took a chance. We did our stand-up show. And he owned the bar, and he thought it was really cool, so he kept inviting us back. But like we'd always have to go through Kentucky when we left Cincinnati, so that's like I like grazed the tip of the South, you know what I mean? Like going. But that was the first time I had grits in my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because right across the river from Cincinnati is Kentucky, so like
Yeah.
it gets and so Cincinnati's kind of a weird place because it's blue, but it gets real red like very quickly. But yeah, I had grits. They weren't great. I don't know what the hype is.
You just didn't have good grits, bro.
Yeah, I guess not. But everything's a Waffle House. People are really nice. Cincinnati, not so much. If you're flying through, I would skip it. I would skip Cincinnati. But yeah, and then what were you saying? Nashville.
Nashville's got a good comedy scene.
Yeah, Nashville is surprisingly like blue too. You know, so to speak. You know, like, but you're driving through Tennessee, which is not. But yeah, I've been to Nashville on unrelated business, but yeah, it's surprising how like artsy it is and like very liberal and stuff like that, just in the middle of Tennessee.
People are calling it like the new Austin
Yeah,
because
yeah, I can
everybody's
see that.
moving there, like music
Oh,
and
really?
film and TV, and yeah, people are like buying up houses and like, you know, taking over the towns. It's not like what it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's totally different,
Yeah,
which
Yeah.
is cool. You know, I guess, you know, it's. I think it's better for exposure to different mediums if you have like a little bubble in that pocket, you know, of all these different, you know,
Right.
the little blue in a sea of red or vice versa.
Yeah.
You know,
I honestly think Atlanta is playing a big part in that because Atlanta is like Hollywood's backyard now. Like so much,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much
for
stuff
sure.
is being shot out there now. And I think that's kind of like turning the whole region just kind of into a more artsy, and then also I want to say like tolerant kind of area in terms of the arts and things like that. And but yeah, because Atlanta's like what they shoot all the Fast and the Furious movies, all the Marvel movies, all the everything's out there now. So
it's really either there or Louisiana because all the tax breaks.
Yeah, and then Louisiana, surprisingly enough, and then Vancouver, but that's not us. That's Canada. So
yeah, we
forget
don't
them.
really care about those guys there.
So, but I also watched. This isn't a new special, but it came out this year. Dave Chappelle's.
Oh
yeah. Those are good.
Still Dave. I've been waiting like 10 years for that special.
He just filmed his new one and in the belly
He's
room.
got two, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the store.
Did.
We were
He
there.
did.
Oh, you were there for it?
No, we were there that night, weren't we?
Oh, that's the night we met.
When we were talking, yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense then. Because I was like, I knew there was sometime right around there. But we were going to see Carl, Mr. C over there in the corner at the Ding Dong Show. Shout out Ding Dong Show, yo. And they got booted. And
Ding Dong Show.
They did the show. We got booted. We got bumped for Dave Chappelle. Not too shabby to be bumped for, by the way. But it was really interesting because they did the Ding Dong Show on the sidewalk in front of the store. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the Ding Dong Show still keeps going. With or without Chappelle shooting their special.
100%, I guess. That's awesome,
The Ding Dong Show's the anchor of the Comedy Store.
It is.
Yeah, it's the longest running show there, right?
Right.
Very cool. What else are you guys thinking? Well, first of all, let me ask you guys this. Who are some of your favorite stand-ups? Because this will go to the special. Like,
Right.
we talked about Burr. Burr's one of my favorites for sure.
Me too.
I don't know. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think?
Favorite stand-ups alive?
Yeah, alive.
Okay. And favorite stand-ups currently working, but alive?
Yeah. That's probably
All right, no. Yeah, I'd have to put Burr in that list. Dave Chappelle was probably one of my biggest comics just in general throughout growing up and even now. I can't say my whole life because he disappeared for 12 years and just kind of didn't do anything. But yeah, he was a big influence on me. But those are like, I feel like I'm unoriginal. Patton Oswalt. I also watched Annihilated.
Yeah, that was good.
But Patton Oswalt's probably one of my favorite working comics right now. If I had to say, I'll actually put him in a separate category than like Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr because they've been consistent, for a long time and they've been on that upper echelon. But I feel like Patton Oswalt's very underrated right now.
He is.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of his. He got a lot of like little energy back. It's sad to say his wife passed,
Right.
but he took that and like used it for a positive, and like talks about some stuff on his stand up and like kind of revamped his career after it, which is amazing because that's a fucking huge thing. That's a big, that's something that can stop you creatively in your tracks, obviously.
Right.
So
That special is pretty dark. That Patton Oswalt's
It
new
is.
special. It's pretty dark about his wife died. I watched that special too. Like he was talking about he will send his daughter to school and a year later and then like the anniversary of the death or something. Like it was
Right.
really hard,
Right.
like a little detailed thing. But for him as an adult to deal with that situation, sometimes I feel like it's harder than the kid.
Right. Yeah.
Because the kid doesn't like the kid just knew, oh, my mom is gone, and they didn't go through life enough to have more emotions or feelings to deal with life that way. And as a father, of course, Patton Oswalt was like, oh yeah, I'm having a like nervous breakdown at school for like little detail things.
Yeah.
That was pretty dark.
And it was like some of it was really funny too, which is like awkward to laugh at. But I just enjoyed it. But at the same time, like I found myself kind of thinking, I was like, well, how else, especially Patton Oswalt, how else would a stand-up deal with their issues? You do more stand-up,
Yeah.
Like I've heard so many rock bands be like, during, or like just reading old stories like, oh yeah, during times of turmoil, we were just like, let's get in the studio, let's write some songs. You know what I mean? So like stand-up's the same way. It's like, well, get on stage and talk about it, I guess,
Also, same thing with like sports too. Whenever something happens in someone's life, they always often, or like something controversial, they always want to get onto the court, onto the field.
Right.
It's like the time that they can just be like,
Yeah.
immerse themselves in not what's going on.
When Kobe Bryant divorced his first wife, his jumper got really good. like his threes were just like dropping. So
Well, Feng, what are some of your favorite stand-ups, bro?
I had to say Bill, and I think Russell Peters is very good.
Russell's the man.
I do like Anthony Jeselnik a lot. I think he's one of the. I do think he's really good.
He's like a boxer. He's like set up punch. Like I feel like his rhythm and stuff is very like he doesn't really go too much into stories, but I love his I love like his whole tonality, his arrogance, like that his demeanor on his specials. Thoughts and Prayers was hilarious.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, they are really good. I think that special. I saw that special. I think that special was shot in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And people always say that San Francisco people there are like very liberal. Like when you do stand up there, like when you talk about something really challenging, you don't know how they're gonna take it. But after I seen the special, it's like, oh yeah, just be you and just write great jokes. You're gonna go somewhere. I think. I think that's what I believe. I think last year I was in San Francisco too. I was the opening for Eliza, and we did a huge theater. It's a sold out theater, and I'm pretty dark on stage in stand up. I'm pretty dark.
It's an understatement.
I mean, it's like it's the jokes
You're
are dark.
underselling it.
It's the jokes are dark. It's not the color of my skin. All right, guys, it's dark. Yeah. He looks Asian when he gets on stage. He gets a little darker, just skin wise. They did. I remember I remember when I opening the show. It's just me, and then I was the opener. I came out with like a beating kids joke, and what? Right. That's just me. Like to me, it's like if you came out with that joke, you really see how the crowd is.
that is a good meter.
It's either they're gonna like it. It to me is there's no middle ground. They either go for it or they don't like it.
Exactly.
But if they like it, I knew I have them. Like first joke is about beating kids. They're like, oh yeah. Each joke after is darker and darker, which also talk about the jokes, not the skin color of my arm. And it's just they love it. It just. San Francisco, it's pretty good. I love that.
That's like the stand-up equivalent of just coming out and saying you're a racist in the beginning of meeting somebody. If they're cool with it, then we're good to go.
It's like to me, I live that way. It's simple. Like if I like a girl, I will just whip my dick out.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. Yep.
There's no friend zone. Like it's either she go for it or she doesn't. If she doesn't go for it, I respect that. I'll just go home by myself.
I got to post bail for Feng a lot, actually.
Let me put on a red wig, so I don't know. Maybe I will go famous or something.
Oh, that's awesome. What have you been doing in your career lately? Like, you've been traveling on the road. You've been doing stuff here, working out.
I've been working out a lot, like new stuff, just to edit in stand up. Like I'm trying to get it like a solid 30 minutes, and I just came back. I did open for Russell Peters last month. It was cool. It was very cool. Shows were good. We did Salt Lake City, Wise Guys, and that was my first time in Salt Lake City. I've never been to that city before, and the people there, they are pretty liberal too. Like I guess it's for Russell show. We didn't see a lot of black people in the show.
Bro,
not a lot of them.
Utah.
Right? And audience were pretty super white, and guys with turbans come to see like Russell's fans. They're liberal. Like to me, it's like when I had a moment that a couple of Indian guys, after the show they come to me like say, hey, we love you, you were really good, we love your sense of humor. And to me it's like, I'm Chinese culture is really close to Indian culture. Like let's just say when your grandma died, you don't joke about it. If you joke about it, specifically for Chinese people, I can't speak for Indian people. Like Chinese people would like, no, you can't joke about your grandma being dead. That's disrespectful. That's not what we do. And I'm like, you know what? I'm Chinese. This is what I do. So I don't care about what you guys laugh or not, but that's how I cope with my dead grandma.
Yeah.
But to me, if people from I just feel like Western culture and just like, compared to Asian culture, it's a little different. But if you want to be universal funny, you just gotta perform in front of different people. I feel like that's one of the things earlier when we talk about Bill shot his special in the South, and I would love to travel to the South, like a city like Atlanta, Tennessee, just to see how they take my beating kids joke up front. And that,
Bro, you do that joke in Florida and so many people will relate.
Yeah?
Yeah. You know, that's my home turf. We're crazy as fuck there.
I'm actually certain there's some places where that joke would go over well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right after the joke, whoever laugh at this joke, you're going to get arrested by the cop right out there because you're laughing at beating kids.
Well, before we get off Russell, because I did want to bring this up, there's two things I wanted to talk about. First of all, I was listening to Tiger Belly about a month ago, and he was on with Bobby Lee and gave you a shout out.
Right.
Very cool.
It kind of made my day. It was just after the show, and I went back to the Midwest, and Russell came back. I didn't know that he did get on Bobby's podcast, and then one of the guy did share me a link. One of the guy come to the store like, hey, listen to this. This is really cool. And I listened to it. I remember the moment. I was like, yeah, this is good. They talk about me for 4 or 5 minutes. It's all good things. And I'm like, you know what? Since then, every time I feel depressed and sad, I'll just turn that on. Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, what a loser.
Yeah, no, fuck
I got
that,
nothing
dude.
to live for.
Wait, how often have you felt depressed and sad recently since that's happened?
Maybe twice a day.
Oh, okay.
You come in, there's a bottle of lotion and some tissues over here.
And then Tiger Belly with Russell Peters. I'm there. Yeah.
Because that was last week, wasn't it? No.
Well, shout out to Bobby Lee. We love your show. Keep doing it. You're awesome.
Oh,
And-
Bobby, it really is one of the guys that he's really humble. He always think that he's not good enough or in some way, but like he really is. When people mention Bobby Lee's name, he's pulling weight. Like people,
absolutely, he's epic, and I think he's one of those foundational bedrocks of comedy, especially at the store. With him being friends with Paulie back in that day and that whole era. But the other thing I was going to say about Russell is actually our founder and CEO, Mickey Gooch Jr., shout out to Mickey, is friends with Russell because they're neighbors in Malibu.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, Russell, we just released the trailer for a new film called The Clapper coming out in January, in theaters January 26th, starring Ed Helms, Amanda Siegfried, Russell Peters, Tracy Morgan, Mickey, our founder owner. So yeah, that's something to check out. But I was like watching the trailer, and I was like, oh, no wonder Russell's in this movie. Mickey was in it. And I'm sure that that's just like a focus. It's so small how the world works, putting people in touch with each other. But Neil, did you go to a 4th of July party over at Russell's? I'm sorry, Russell. We're just gonna name drop you all this show, bro.
Oh yeah, it was possibly like the greatest 4th of July party ever. Me and Papi Carlo over here, we got to enjoy the festivities, excellent food, excellent fellowship. There was even a DJ turntable, which of course I turned out. Kunta Kinte was there. We took photos with Kunta Kinte. Black Dynamite was also there. I don't know these guys' actual names. I'm just giving them the character names. But it was a fantastic time. My daughter was in town to visit. Russell Peters was like, come visit my daughter's bedroom, and her room was how do I say this? A majestic land full of every toy little girl could want. I swear to God, I think my daughter walked in and did like a full 360 slow walk around like in circle, like a little swirl. What
the circle shot.
Yeah, it's like what
she just walked into a Disney movie.
Yeah, it was fantastic. No, but it was a great time, and Russell excellent host. He was so cool. And I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't too in tune with his stand-up at all. All I knew was him was a really nice guy with a really huge house. So
like a host, like a normal human being. Which
exactly. I had no idea. Like
maybe that's the way he wants it.
Right.
And then like later on, it wouldn't be like till maybe like a month later, I'm driving down the street. Oh shit, he has a special on Netflix. It's I'm like, oh, who is this guy? Like I start looking him up, and I'm like, oh, of course.
Yeah, to me, he's really like he's internationally huge.
Global. He's probably the most well-known stand-up comic that's on a global level. You think? Right?
It's like, I mean,
up there.
I mean, right? Like he sold out, like I think 2012 or 13. He sold out that O2 Arena in London, 240,000.
That's huge.
People. Like that's crazy. I can't even wrap my head around there. Like I'm a comic. Like 240,000 people came here just to see you.
Just see you talk.
Right. And he, with his, like I saw his special. I did see Russell's special, the new special. Like he really is. He's universal funny. He can go to Dubai to do a show, make people laugh. He can go to like anywhere in the world. I know he's starting his new tour in February. Russell, we're just plugging your show dates on the radio, and he's just going to all like Asia, Europe, and Australia to do that. Like that's crazy to me.
Did you see him? Because I've never seen him live, but did you see him do a lot of crowd work or any of that? Because I feel like from some of the clips that I've seen of, not on his special, but other like just YouTube clips.
I've seen his crowd work is excellent. It's just perfect. Just
right.
To me, on stage, to me, sometimes I don't usually mess with the crowd unless if there's something. If some drunk white girl think that she can talk during my set, I would say something. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't just go say, hey Neil, I like your hat. What do you do? Like that kind of, like I wouldn't like do it first, unless I don't know if that makes sense. But Russell would just ask, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? And then just a couple quick questions, he can dig something out to make fun of. Like I feel like the art is like when you make fun of someone to do crowd work, and then that someone was making fun of is also laughing. Then that's perfect.
I think what adds to that is almost as if kind of almost like a rapper or hip hop. It's like almost when you see an art like a comedian start interacting with the crowd and making jokes off of that, it lets everyone else know that this is live.
Yes.
This is not rehearsed. This is freestyle comicing right now.
Right.
And that's entertaining in itself.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a real moment. Like earlier when I said that I got darker on stage, and then I make you guys laugh because I said the joke is darker. It's not my skin that got darker.
But you do have sleeves too. You got tattoo sleeves, so I was like, even a little 3-layer joke right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, there you go. Comedian Feng Chao. His jokes has layers.
Well, the reason I asked about the crowd work thing is because I've seen you on Kill Tony, and which, by the way, amazing. Good job. That was hilarious.
Thank you.
Your sets were great. That little 1-minute set that they asked you to do was great. But even your banter afterward is really why I brought that up, because I was like, you are probably fucking excellent at crowd work.
I feel like I do think this is what I understood with the crowd work. Like we're all here to have a good time. Mm-hmm. Just don't go too harsh on the crowd, because I feel like when you make fun of someone, if your tone changes, and then you're gonna turn the rest of the people like, why are you being so mean, or why are you being too much to this audience member? But just how to find the balance is hard.
Yeah.
But I do talk a lot of shit. That's for sure.
Well, see, and I think that's one of the reasons I love it is because I love that style of humor. You know, people just talking shit to each other. Yeah. And, I feel like if you're in the stand-up world or you go to a stand-up show, like, you should expect that type of thing is going to happen. Like,
sure. It's a live performance show.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that, you're going there to be entertained. You're not going there, to see a Broadway musical. Yeah. You're going there for, some comics to be dirty, some comics to be dark, some comics to not relate to you, all these different things.
I I think it's kind of like, for me, it was always based on the show. Like if I'm doing a club, like the Comedy Cafe back in Milwaukee, some like low stakes show like that, or a room I've done so many times that it's like reading it in front of my mirror. You know, I'm just comfortable, right? But I'll do crowd work. But if it's like I'm on the road or I'm opening for somebody or something like that, especially at like a bigger venue, then like I'll just do my set and I'll just, you know, I won't even try to attempt to. If something happens, you know, someone says something, you know, I'll go with it. But like, yeah, like usually it's if I'm trying out new stuff too, because I don't have enough to fill 10 minutes. So, so I'll just work the audience and see what happens. But yeah, I think I always based on like how I was feeling before the show. Like, do I even want to talk to this crowd?
Yeah, that makes sense. Because each night's different, especially if you got more than one show per night. You know,
Right.
you do a good show early, bad show later, vice versa, something like that.
Yeah.
I do think crowd work is one of the things. When you talk to the audience on a live show, it's like they know you are paying attention to, because you're higher up. You can see everybody. Like when you are on stage, what really bothers me if when I'm on stage, there's always gonna be some like white girl. It's always some white girl pulling out her phone, looking at her phone. I love white girls, all right? I love you guys.
We do too.
You guys are my cup of tea. But it's just like there's certain things like you will see, like it really bothers me. Like I would say something like, hey, put your phone away, please. And I know you think it's your birthday, you can do anything, but you know what? Every day it's my fucking birthday. Pay attention. Or something. Just that bothers me. But I do think if you talk to the crowd, you really get them involved in a way that it's a show. We're all together in the show. I feel like that's like has a bigger meaning than you just get on stage, you do your thing, and it's a little different to me. Like there's nothing wrong to get on stage just to go into your set to tell your jokes, which is they want to see your jokes, you want to tell your jokes to the audience. That's why we're here. But I feel like the ability to connect with people, you can get it through crowd work, and also if it's you put it in your jokes, it's gonna be something real from your heart to connect with people. We all have good stuff. I feel like it's just as a comic, you just choose to share the part of you that you want to share. I think that's one of the things that it's not. I get it, it's not always about me, but since I'm talking, I wanted to say I'm working on a new bit about abortion. This is what
Here we go.
This is what I'm working on.
Told
right?
him not to talk about this.
Yeah. This is, you know what? Don't like the hard part is for me to get to the States. Now I'm here. I have a microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
No, go in. Fuck it.
I do feel like this is it's a real, like whenever you talk about abortions in real life, people just people pull back like, oh, we're talking about literally killing babies and hurting your girlfriend's feelings. We do no matter what.
Killing babies and hurting your girlfriend's feelings.
This is basically
Yo, that should be the name of your special.
It is killing babies and hurting your girlfriend's feelings.
And I got all the dudes vote. I got all yeah. We all think about it. Somehow we need this Chinese-looking face with an accent and talk about killing babies. I start to think about, like, I start to work on that bit because my girlfriend in college had an abortion. Back then, I went through it. She went through it. We never told anybody. I didn't tell my parents.
You just told like a million people just now.
I know. Sure. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Sure.
Is she back in China still?
Who?
Is your girlfriend from college back in China still?
Yeah, she's
She's
there.
never going to hear this. Don't worry about it.
Well, after the show, I'm going to text her. If you hear any link of my voice talking about killing your baby and hurt your feelings, my intention was making people laugh.
And hurting your feelings. Yeah.
Anyways, let me know.
And I do just, like, I never told anybody. To me, it's like, now you're a comic. Like, now I'm a comic. I just feel like what can I do? Because I went through that abortion. And I literally didn't do shit. I just went there with her. so it's easy for me. And now I'm like, oh, let me see if I can make this funny. And I feel like before, like I wasn't trying everything. We weren't trying really hard to hide the thing, but we were kind of like trying to hide the thing, the abortion thing. But now the irony is, like, I'm on stage with a microphone telling all the strangers about abortion, and it's starting to work because one time I got off stage, there's a girl came up to me. She said, I really love that abortion joke because my job is to put them dumb bitches to sleep during the day at the clinic. It make me look at my job in a different perspective. Like, I almost cried. I almost asked her to marry me. I'm like, you're white, right? You're plain looking white girl, marry me. You like my sense of humor. I think we should, our baby would have like good, I don't know.
Baby, are you sure about that?
I'm not afraid of life. I'm going like either way.
Well, dude, I think that so rings true because, you know, when I started, I used it as a form of like mental therapy. Like the best jokes that when I did, I had like a good 15 that I had. But the best jokes out of that would be stuff from my past. Like, I'm blind in my right eye and I have hemophilia. So my whole first opening is all about cancer and hemophilia. And one of my punchlines is, and that's why I think cancer's for pussies. So right there, you already, like, I know where, like you were talking about, you know where your audience is going.
Right.
That's a great telltale sign because I'm like, oh, hold on, I can feel you pulling back, but just bear with me for a second. And for me, what I like is when comics bring the audience into their world and see it through their lens.
Right.
That's the most refreshing thing.
It's like they can see your life in their eyes when you tell those jokes, when you tell them those stories. Yeah. And it's like, I'm not, like, to me, it's like I'm not changing. I'm not changing who I am. And I'm not changing my joke because you don't think abortion is funny. You don't think that baby is funny. I'm not changing it because I'm not changing me for, I don't know, just I'm not changing anything.
No, you shouldn't. Should never sell out to the man.
I
gave Casey a stern look over here.
That's honestly like why I like Feng Chao probably so much. His stand-up is because like every other comic is like insecure, you know, and they're like sensitive. They're like, oh, you know, what if my set doesn't go good, or what if this joke bombs? Oh, you know, I'm afraid, you know. But Feng's just like, I'm gonna tell my abortion joke. And I'm going to do it this place, and this place. And I really don't give a fuck what the reaction is at any three places. Like, I'm just here to tell an abortion joke. I mean, like, this is for me.
Well, you need that. As a comic, you got to have that confidence or else your audience loses faith in you.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What are some of the worst moments you guys have had on stage? Some bombs.
Yeah, that would be my question, yeah. Expand.
Last year I bombed 8 minutes in front of a sold out Irvine Improv, 500 people. Still opening joke was about beating kids. And,
that's what I was saying.
I really ate it. Last year, it was last year, somewhere in I think August or September. I opened for Maz Jabrani. I thought I was hot shit. I was like, you know what? I'm Hollywood cool. I'm this cool guy. Everything's great. And then we went there, and the host did 8 minutes up front, brought me up, and I just fucking bombed 8 minutes. And I was professional enough to commit to the whole act. And after the show, I didn't feel really good. But I realized that the audience are like Maz Jabrani's crowd, like audience, like Persian people, like he's got like huge Persian following, like Eastern folks, and then of course they're not gonna like beating kids and then like that baby jokes, but
they're not.
It made me learn to still like I learned because I didn't connect with them, like. If they don't like it, I feel like I could have said something about them not liking it as being dumb or something. It's either I can get out of the hole or I dig that hole deeper. Like either way, I'm bombing. I got nothing to lose. I'm just Didn't feel good at all.
8 minutes of
8
torture.
minutes. Yeah.
Dude, props to you for muscling through it, though. That's what I've always debated. Like, at what point do you because like you said with your act with the dead baby thing, it's one escalation to another.
Yeah.
And it kind of leads it. So you either have to commit or abandon it altogether.
When you abandon, like say, you're on stage for 8 minutes, you bail out 4 minutes in, and just you can't. I wouldn't be able to look at the audience. I wouldn't want to hide in the corner. If they look at you, they're like, if I'm the audience member, if I see a performer live, I don't want to see him bomb like a champion.
Go down in flames.
It's true.
Right?
Kamikaze.
It's universal. Like no matter where you, like what nationality you are, even if you don't understand the language, you see this live performance. Everybody's supposed to laugh. Nobody's laughing. You see this guy bomb for 8 minutes in that silence. You want to shake his hand after the show, right?
Like Rocky III.
At least you know this guy is his commitment is there.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
I guess, yeah, I haven't like, I like to turn bombing the times I have bombed, and like Feng was just saying, I like to finish my set because at least I get the stage time and I get to practice what this sounds like, me speaking it on stage. Like, screw all these people now. I got blinders on. Now it's like I built a stage in my garage.
Exactly.
And I have a bunch of cardboard cutouts and I can just kind of practice. But I would have to say, by like all things considered, the worst time I've had on stage was I did a show in Milwaukee. There was this guy who was booking me to open for all these bands for like 6 months of my life. I was just opening for all these local bands and stuff. And he was all coked out all the time and just he was a very erratic person. So I did the Milwaukee Ale House. Shout out Milwaukee Ale House. 26 beers on tap. And so like, and this show was great. Like there was 90 people there. Everyone was a fan of the bands. The bands did a good job of like, setting them up for me, and stuff while they're getting all set up and stuff. They don't have roadies and not at this stage. And anyway, so I go up there, I had a great set. I get down, they start playing, and then the guy comes up to me, with his coke jitter or whatever you got when you're all coked out. He's like, coke jitter or whatever.
It couldn't have been just that he was cold because it's Milwaukee.
Yeah, no. We were inside, the heat was on. And this was a coke jitter. And I feel like there's a medically sensitive term, but anyway. So he books me for this show across town. Last minute, like an hour later, for another band that wasn't supposed to have an opener, not on the flyer, nobody knew about it, the bar didn't even know. So I go there, and that happened to be when the Packer game started. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to Wisconsin, but there are very like if there's a Packer game on and Wolf Blitzer comes on TV and says like there's a nuke that North Korea just launched and it's going to land in Minnesota or Wisconsin, we don't know yet, like that would not make air. It would like when the Packers are on.
Right.
When the Packers are on, there are zero fucks given. So anyway, this bar was a sports bar, so it had all the TVs on, and I just went up there and like it was very haphazard. But what was bad about it, because like I've bombed like that before where nobody's listening to me, but what was bad about it was like they were actively trying to ignore me. Because I still have a microphone.
They just think you're like a
like
fly or a bug. They're just like you're fucking annoying.
Because the bar wasn't big, so you could definitely hear me. You know what I mean? Like the mic was turned up pretty loud. So like they just put up with my like 8 minutes of just, and I was looking straight at the band because they were the only ones looking at me. So they just put up with 8 straight minutes of me just talking about my dick or whatever, and it was like they were actively just ignore him, focus on the TV. Packers are winning, just ignore him, just keep. So that was probably the worst time I've had because like they were actively ignoring me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I just start trashing the Packers. Whatever you want to pay attention to.
I wanted to leave with my life. Like I wasn't about to trash.
Just
the
trash
Packers.
the other team. Just whoever they're playing, like a roast.
Yeah, it was. But like, it was just like. It wasn't bombing that hurt. It was the fact that I was an unwanted entity. Like I was like being ignored.
Yeah, you're like, this is what I choose for my dream? Yeah.
Like nobody wanted me there. But yeah, so that would probably be mine.
But I do feel like bombing, it's fun to bomb too. Like it's in the moment, this is one of the story. We were on the road with one of the few of my friends. One of the guy is bombing. One of the guy on stage is bombing, just not getting any laugh. He's doing 10 minutes set, and the guy who's in charge of the light said, "Hey, we gotta light this guy." I'm like, "No, don't light him. Give him another 5 minutes." He's bombed another 5 minutes. To me, it's like, I guess like being a comedian, we're a little fucked in the head. It's like, oh, if any of you guys see me bomb in real life, please laugh. I want you guys to laugh.
Yeah.
Like, because that's, to me, is like, oh, if you fuck faces are laughing at me, it's either, to me, I get better or quit. To me, it's just like,
Yeah.
There's a point too where if you're bombing really hard, that you go deeper into it, that bomb becomes funny.
yes.
Like
Yeah.
I've seen that in the OR a lot. Like at the end of the fucking night with a Kennison spot or something,
That-
there's like 5 people in
That's
there.
where magic starts.
Yes, absolutely. And because then if you're bombing, you're like, all right. But then it's like you make it so bad, and so awkward that it gets it back into its rhythm. And like,
Yeah.
God, there's something about that OR. It's just a magical room.
I've the latest time I've gone up there, it's 1:15. I got up, like, there's about 5 people, like sitting different directions, and I did okay, surprisingly, because you'd think 1:15, the show ends at 2. If they want to go home, they're drunk, they're tired, they would have been gone already.
right.
They're still paying attention. Then come back to, you just be real, and then they would, like, they all speak English, of course, right? Like, that's just how I look at it.
They got them cocaine jitters.
The cocaine. I gotta Google that now because I feel like I just offended a bunch of recovering like cocaine addicts. It's called the shakes. All right.
Just don't plug your Twitter and social media. At the end of this. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah. What did we say my name was at the beginning of the show?
Well, what is like your goal? What do you got coming up in the future? Like, what would you like to, what's on the dream list, the bucket list for career wise in like performance? Like, you're opening for Eliza, you're open for Russell. Anybody else you really want to work with? I mean, I'm sure there's a ton, but I don't know. Just picking your brain.
I would really want to find an angle someday to work with Bill Burr.
You hear that, Bill?
This is me trying to like publicly networking.
before I die in 3 months. Yeah, no. You should have said that.
I bet, I don't know how he does with bringing people on the road, but I'm sure that, the comedy world, especially because you're in the fucking epicenter of it, bro. That's what we didn't even start talking about this. Like, you are working at the Comedy Store.
Sure, yes.
So when did you start and how has that been? And what's that experience like?
I've been working there for a little bit more than 2 years. It's one of the coolest jobs that I've ever had. One of the coolest. It really is. It's a mecca for comedians. You see people get off the street, still homeless, come sign up for open mic, and then you see people like Judd Apatow, Bill Burr, Chappelle. They all, like, from every level in comedy are in that place. It's fun to be. You learn a lot. You get to hang out. And you get to practice, you get to perform. It's the best. I do love the place. And but to me, I'm just 2 years in. I need to figure out, like, right now we're doing, like, it's just job, like, you seat people, you cart people. Like, I'm trying to find the transitioning time to get to be a comedian, like, to go out on the road, get on a show, write a show. What's your, like, I always tell myself, like, when I first moved to LA, I was working as a tour guide, and
really,
I was as a tour guide. Like, you see the Asian face with a flag on Hollywood Boulevard with a bunch of Chinese people. That was me.
I was a tour guide in Florida. So the spiel.
Yeah, it was very decent money, but I didn't have time to do stand up. And then that's when I realized that, I gotta get rid of this fucking job. So I gotta get rid of this comfort zone that with the money coming in. Like, cause I didn't abandon my kid in the Midwest to come to LA to be a tour guide. I'm here, right? I'm here to be a comedian. So I just slowly phased that job out, and then I was lucky enough I got hired at the Comedy Store, and I'm just doing more and more stand-up. And the goal this year, one of my close friend, we start talking about sitting down and write a show about me, about myself. I just feel like everybody in this town think, oh, I'm interesting enough to have a show about myself. So like, yeah, just write one first and then see how good your show is, how good the characters is. And I do feel like now I have some people that if you really do have a script, you can send it to someone that can make decisions to, we'll make a show of this. And I think that's my focus this year. And I do think if it's kind of like a shortcut here. Like if you do have a show on TV, on the like cable TV, like it helps a lot for your stand-up.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
in
Absolutely.
town, you get bumped up to prime spot, and then you go out of LA or New York, go to the middle of America. People are like, oh, this guy have a show, and he can headline. But if I do, I'm gonna eat shit for a while because you only have a show. Your stand-up is not as good as the road dogs. They're on the road all the time. But either way,
That's a matter of
you grow.
perspective, I think. You could still have really good stand-up and just skip to the front of the line because you wrote a really good show. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you'll get a lot of haters, but fuck those dudes.
You need those
Yeah.
haters. You need those haters to make, like, my thing is, if you hate me, good. I'm gonna work harder for you to hate me more.
If you don't
Yeah.
have no haters, you're not popping.
Right.
That's true.
That's very true. Cause like people don't hate you. Like, oh yeah, nobody hates on that guy sitting on the corner of Kohanga and Sunset begging for money. Nobody hates him. The only person who hate that guy is himself. Like, right?
It's true.
No, I do agree with, like, if nobody hates you, like you're not doing shit.
Yeah, or at least you haven't done something that's caused that.
Yeah, because people are like, oh, yeah, especially at the store, people look at me like, I feel like I'm like a middle popular person there. Like, but I do see people come up to me to say hi. The laugh, they put on like a show to go out of their way to say hi, like because I open for so and so. Like, why don't you just say hi to me for me being me? Because like if I don't open for other comedians, you're not gonna say hi. Then don't say hi to me at all. I'm a little extreme.
Well,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. And, I think, do you have any crazy stories from the store since you've been working there for 2 years that you can or would like to share? If not, you don't have to. But,
Crazy stories. I do have a crazy story. Like, it's just like a little personal story. It made me a better person. There was a girl coming hang out. Just the store attracts like all crazy people on different levels. Like, I'm crazy too. If I'm not crazy, I'm not there. Everybody's crazy. She was hanging out. Like, she had a nervous breakdown. Like, I think something wrong with her head or something. Like, she was hiding in the darkest corner at the Comedy Store right outside. And I talked to her before, like I was working that day, and I talked to her a little bit, and then because we have cameras all over the place. And after work, I had a couple of shots, and I smoked a little grass. I was feeling myself hanging out with my friends, and all of a sudden the general manager came find me. He goes, like, there's a very young lady on the other side of this wall in the corner requires your presence. Think that's the biggest boss at the place, and I love my job. And immediately I almost shit my pants. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck did I do to the girl? Like, did I do something to the girl? And it took me a second because I was high. I'm like,
did I get that dead baby joke on her?
like I'm like, calm down, don't freak out, think. We're like, oh, it's got to be the girl that I talked to. And the manager said that she wouldn't come out of the corner. It's either we're gonna have security guy pull her out of there. And we're like, no, don't do that. Like, let me see if I can talk to her to connect with her in the level to get her out of there. And I knew she wasn't even drunk. Like she just had a drink or two, but she was like laying on the ground in the darkest corner. Like, to me, usually I don't have patience for crazy people. I don't have that. But that's my job. But I was off work. Like, I just feel like I want to get her out of there. So I just calmed her down and talked to her a little bit. And the whole time she was freaking out. She's like, I know if I get out of here, they're going to kick me out. They're going to think I'm crazy. I can't come back. And I was like, no. Listen to me. When we come out, I can talk to the manager to say, hey, she's cool. She just had a little moment and everything's cool. If I say that, and I need you to back me up. I can't just say that for you and then you act crazy when you come out. And slowly but surely, I convinced her everything's cool. I got her out of the corner, saw her get in the Uber, went home. She said, thank you so much for not thinking that I'm crazy. And I said, thank you so much. Like, it made me grow. It made me understand that I'm a bigger, caring person. I think, to me, that's pretty crazy.
That is.
I thought you were gonna.
That was touching.
I thought you were gonna be going over to the corner, but yo, I got this. Let me just talk.
I got this.
And then go and be like, bitch, get up! That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah. All you white bitches have the same problem. you just need an Asian guy with an accent to tell you, bitch, get the fuck out of there.
I loved how that turned out to just be like incredibly touching. Like, we all learned something at the end and shit.
Right. And now I went home and I'm like, yeah, what if I just grab her tits before I yell, bitch? Get the fuck out. Like,
Did you think about that afterwards? Like, could I, like, did you have that thought? Like,
no, I didn't, but
you were going to try to make a move on that?
I did go home and jacked off and think about her in the corner.
While Russell's audio was playing. All right. Well, hey, let everybody know out there. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? You want to plug some stuff? You got some dates coming up? You got anything you want people to know about for you guys?
I'm at the Comedy Store every Monday because that's where we go up. We practice. It's like a boxing gym. And if you want to see me in town, talk to me. And that's it.
Awesome.
I've actually been on hiatus from stand-up for like a couple months now, but I've been working with a business partner to get a record label going, and you guys should check it out. February 8th for Sand Records. All right, check that out. And then I'll probably be going back to doing stand-up, and no dates right now.
Awesome.
So.
Well, when you guys do, you want to come back on, you got an open invitation from us. We love you guys.
Of course. This is so fun.
Yeah,
This is
awesome.
This is a great time.
It's good. We just get here, sit down, and shoot the shit.
It really made me happy that I can make Neil laugh.
Yeah. You know.
Because you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like making black people laugh is hard. But I find the common ground is just to yell at white girls, say, bitch.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how ignorant I am. So like, oh, Neo is black, he laugh at this. And if Neo's brother come in, we're like, oh yeah, I will yell at the same white girl, say, bitch.
You guys got some social medias you want people to follow you at?
I do. I can follow. People can follow me on Twitter at FENGCHAO 8080. 80. It's Chinese good numbers for money and fate or whatever. And Instagram is FC8080.
Yeah, and then you can just look me up on Facebook, letter K, letter C, MICHELSON, Casey Michelson.
Yo, you can catch me up on the gram at The Life of Neil the Great. You know what it is.
All right, we're gonna. I want to give some shout outs. Thank you for letting us talk about you guys. You want to? Yeah, come on. We'll come around here, or come jump on somebody's mic. Sorry, there you go, Poppy Carlo. Carlo's been sitting in the corner.
I don't need the headphones, but yeah, Poppy Carlo, Mr. C the Enforcer. Google it, Poppy Carlo on Instagram. Always check out the Ding Dong Show on Monday nights. YouTube 10:30 every time. Also check out every other Tuesdays. We at the Lotus Lounge. We hosting a comedy show, the GT Comedy Show. December 26th, we got the movie Scramble coming out. Grab that shit on iTunes. I'm in that. And in January, we got Clapper coming out. We got a lot of Skitbags fam in that, which I'm also in that too. So you got to check all that shit out. Mr. CD Enforcer's Skitbags. Fuck with us.
Awesome. Well, you took care of half my plugs there. Thanks, Carl. I was going to plug Clapper. I love you. I love you. Thank you. But yeah, shout out to Russell. Thank you, Russell, for letting us talk shit about you. We love you. To Bobby Lee and Tiger Belly, thank you guys for being awesome. We're fans of the show, and hope you guys want to ever come on. You got an open invitation yourselves. So right here, you can find me on Instagram at Sailor_Dev. But more importantly, if you want to tweet at the show, it is at Skitbags Radio on Twitter. And if you want to send us an email, tell us you love us, tell us you hate us, send nudes, whatever, it is skitbagsradio@gmail.com. And on that note, we're out.
Skitbags Radio.